Ayo. We say Deo. Good to be back. Welcome, everybody. Everyone who's here now, watching in the chat and all that, and everybody who's watching this in the future, which seemingly a lot of people do, I guess. I don't know. If you watch this in the future, recordings of it, let me know. It's like hundreds of views on them. I mean, there's only a few people usually here in the chat, so it's kind of interesting. Anyway, hopefully you can hear me fine. I'm going to keep working on the song. I know you're probably sick of it. Sorry. It's got to be done. So yeah, welcome, Maddie, Fabian, JP. Everything look and sound fine? Baby. Now, I think that there's, maybe I'm tripping, but is there now 2 Fabians in the community? I know Perfunctory now is going by Fabian, but Fabian G is not Perfunctory. It's a different Fabian, right? JP, it was you that was playing like jazz alto sax or something on a challenge a couple times ago, wasn't that right? Anyway, tenor. Oh, it's tenor. Nice, that's great. Yeah, we got to get some like recording of you or something at some point and use it for a challenge. So everybody could, I don't know if you'd be into that, but you know, some kind of like improvisation or something, and then provide that as a sample and everybody has to use it. It could be kind of fun because you're sounding great. All right, anyway, here's the tune. I'll let it play through the whole way. And yeah, we'll see. This last part here is under heavy construction, but otherwise it's coming along. All right, so I had this melody here initially, which I quite like, and then I tried out this short little thing. So yeah, how's the best way to do this? If I have an idea here, I'm going to just do this manually right now. The strings, I don't know, but we'll put them over here. So anyway, I had this original melody here. And the last note of the sort of newer short melody is actually the same as the first note of that one. Right? I can't reach it right now. So I'm thinking that these could be joined and actually anticipate this first note. Like this. Ish. Oh, the modulation is going to be weird. Yeah. I'm going to have to figure out how this should move, but yeah, something like that. Sorry I didn't say hello to you, Dee Dee. If you're still around, everything's good. Fabian, hi. You got me into ear training 2 weeks ago, and I already feel the major and minor scale quite well. Highly motivated to develop my ear in the next months, years. Thanks for your great content. Hey, that's great, Fabian. I appreciate you letting me know. I remember there was a time I didn't do any ear training when I was first learning music when I was a teenager at all. Not other than stuff that just happened naturally through playing, but I didn't make any focused attempt to ever do anything about it or think about it. And it was really a rough time. I couldn't really work out anything by ear. Even simple melodies I couldn't do by ear, like nursery rhymes and things. But then I read a blog post sometime, like when I was like 19 or 20, maybe even later, 21, I don't know, sometime around then. My dog is having some allergies. We'll see if it gets into the mic too much here. I read a blog post from a saxophone player, and it was just sort of singing the praises of ear training and basically saying, you know, this is the key in a certain sense to improvisation, to music, to knowing what you're hearing, to speaking the language, or at least hearing a language. And I started thinking about that at the time, and I thought, damn, yeah, obviously. I don't know why no one ever told me this before. I don't know. I knew some people that were better at me than music, and I had some teachers and things, but no one ever really mentioned ear training in this way. And when I came across that, I thought, yeah, that's it. That's the key, at least for me, you know, the key. It's one of the keys anyway. It's something really, really important and foundational to being able to like speak music fluently and compose and improvise in an intuitive way. So anyway, ever since then, it became a big part of my life. But up until that point, it was nothing. Mikafre, welcome. Good to see you. Awesome sounds as always. Glad you enjoy it. All right, so I'm thinking about trying to join these, and I'm going to copy these over. Well, I've just kind of, at the end of the last stream, I know I randomly harmonized this. It's actually pretty cool, but there's something in there that I'm not quite digging. Oh, we're in A. So I like the main line. Yeah, it's the smoothest option. Chord is like a... Yeah, oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. I kept thinking of it as like an E7. Can't play it on the flute. But as, you know, like a E alt, as we say. But I think initially the intention was actually for it to be... but it's over the G sharp. The intention was for it to be a half diminished, a D half diminished. Yeah. So it's a bit low. Oh, there's the other Fabian, right? So I was just saying there's two Fabians, right? Hey, Fabian. Glad you immersed in all that world. It's very helpful to us. Appreciate that, me coffee. Hey, Walk to. Every time I go to say your name, I'm like, what part of it am I going to say? Park. Park. Hey, Park. Composing ghibli jazz fusion. Yeah, I figured, I mean, a couple of people had mentioned it, and I thought, yeah, I mean, it's got that vibe, I guess, so perhaps... There we go, Fabian to Fabian. Fabian on Fabian action. Anyway, so what is... Yeah, so, oh, see, it's looking at it as F minor 6 9 over A flat. Yeah, which also makes total sense. Because minor 6 chords are just inversions of half diminished chords, or vice versa, whatever you want to say. So, I want to get the E in there, but perhaps we can get it with something else. So I might even, well, let's see, change the voicing in the thing here. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much playing. Oh, it just doesn't have the F. Right, so it could be this. Now my something here is yeah, let's go with that for now. And let's dupe this over, and then we'll see about linking into this. Yeah, so it's gonna be like... What's happening here? Okay. Make this a little bit punchier, I think. It gets too quiet, so we need to do this. I guess we need it to be a bit punchy. Kind of stuttery sounding like that. Yeah, no, it's better to be smooth. And the other harmonies should probably hold, and then we should probably drop out the chords and everything on this first. Let's just roll them up instead. It's probably easier to fix later if I need to. Oops. This. I don't know where to pull it to, but. You know, and if they all hold, I think we'll be looking good. You. Okay, what we need to do is I need to get this curve and paste it onto this. Oh yeah, that's right. This. And then hold this out. I don't know how actually long it is. It's 1.5 long. All right, so 1.5, let's call it for now. And then U as well. Okay, but then the chord it goes to is C is A major. Yeah, right. Goes A major to A minor. So it's going to be flipping up to the third here, perhaps. And then here is where it flips down, which probably we should also harmonize. But for now, I'm just going to do the one. This. Could just go to the A, I guess. Yeah, so if we then let's get all three and flip this down. Oh, it's going to flip. It's not bad. What if this was this? I want this to be a bit like I don't know, it needs to have some friction, it needs to, you know, make you feel something for a second. No. What should it be? Like, what if it was a... So you turn down the one that goes to... that's you. Just gets a bit out of hand. even still, it's just loud. Yeah, it's okay, but the tonality is not really like coming across very clearly. I could reharmonize it there. Instead of going to A, well, okay, let's think about this. We could, like, going to A is about going from C to C sharp in this case. So the melody note is E, and trying to get the point across that C has been raised. We could go to a D. What are we leaving off on? Oh, we're already leaving off on a D. Leaving off on a, well, it's inverted, I guess. I might think of it as the F, this. In which case, it's kind of cool. No third. Nice, interesting idea. We could do that by putting in the bass flute, which I do have. Mute these for now, and then we'll just start it here. This should actually be this, though. No one's playing the C, so we don't really hear the minor. Yeah, we kind of have to have the C in there. We could put the chords in, I guess, with no bass. Maybe this. This. It's cool. Alali, is that how you say your name? Alali? Richard Atine. Hello. Nice to meet you. Unless we met before. Sorry if we met before. A lot of people come through, so I don't always remember. It's pretty cool. I think that we want the... Is that bass clarinet? It's bass flute, JP. Bass flute. Bass clarinet perhaps would be even better, but I've almost never used a bass flute before, so I wanted to try it. I'm thinking that the bass actually could be part of this. Oh yeah, gonna have to do this first. Move them down. Wait, you, no, you down. Frio, heyo. Good to see you, as always. So here, I could actually duplicate the melody down low. It's almost perfect. not. It's kind of lame. What if this was like walking down? Yeah, start on, let's say 6. Walk. I'm trying to end up on this D down here, which I'm walking backwards. Well, why don't we do that? I'll walk backwards. Sort of backwards through a F minor 6 arpeggio. Not you. Something about it coming right on the beat is a bit weird. Like, what if this was here? And we'll have to add some percussion and stuff there, but can we go from the top again just to get the whole vibe in mind before I do anything else? I think today at some point I want to gussy up the intro. It's going to be some swelling cymbals and maybe harp or strings, I don't know, something in there to make it just really pretty, you know, just kind of what's the word? Blushing and blooming. Here. Yeah, I think I'll make some adjustments to that. But generally, I like what's happening here. I think maybe the clarinet could duplicate this. Or even like it takes over. I don't mind that. Oh, I only changed the chord on one. This one. So maybe I like that idea. Like the flutes have had their little tooty parts here. I don't mean that in the music vernacular way of tooty, but of like they're tooting. Toot, toot, toot. They do that a bit, and then they fade into here, and the clarinet takes over. Then the flute does it, but like with almost all the parts of the flute, it's going to be in multiple sections. It's going to be harmonized, to put it that way. Just set it to a random note and see what happens. Went below the range. So yeah, we're going to need to have this guy actually be above the other one. So why do you do this? Not like this. Yes. No. Yes. Okay. Oh, yeah. I don't really like that too much. Well, it makes me think I'm going to leave it unharmonized. So here, like we could swap to hi-hat. This part probably should be opposite. This part's more hi-hat like, but the ride is nice there. How about some brass? Yeah. I don't know why I have an aversion to using brass. It's not that I don't like it, that's for sure. Can I switch this into like a polyphonic mode so I can use it as like a sort of an ensemble type thing? V, hello from Switzerland. Was watching your video about ear training and saw you were online. Now I'm stuck here because this is good. Welcome, V. Glad you enjoyed it. Happy you're here. What kind of music do you do, V? Or are you into, or whatever? Okay, what I want to know is, can this be set up to be polyphonic? I mean, it must. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. I would assume it must be able to. Legato transitions, vibrato, general, no. MIDI. This is transposition, ensemble. Oh, that means they're all going to play the same thing, though. Scale, chromatic, I see, yeah. Air curve. Yes, maybe you can't. Trombone. Yeah, I don't know how to do that in here, if you even can. I would think it would be here, but since I'm not seeing it. Yeah. Try something else. Maybe use the BBCSO ensembles. Yeah, do they have ensembles? I don't think so. They just have, well, maybe I don't understand. I don't think they do, though. I think they just have poly patches for, unless that's what you mean. Where is that? Oh, that's not this. BBC. BBC brass horns. Who doesn't like a good French horn? The trombone moves, yeah, as you play it. We're gonna have to set this to be the close mics like everything else. And then put verb 1 upon it. All right. This thing's loud. Anyway, we're here. You can load all of them in one patch. Yeah, but that's massive. I just want, like, for an ensemble patch, I just want something very, very low. What's the word I'm looking for? Not intensive, not computer intensive, and just like one patch that's just, you know, spread across everything, but it's not meant to be used. You know what I mean? Like it's just been for sketching. Yeah, I see. I can't do the horns because it's just too, like, regal, you know? It has this quality, the brass has this something, you know? It's just associations, I'm sure, from too many movies and all this, but it's a bit, like, epic. It's a bit proud sounding, right? I don't think it works. And I generally, like, avoid it because I don't know why. I just don't often like feel that way as a person. I don't somehow like, even though I love to hear it in movies, scores, and games and whatever, but when I sit to write music, it doesn't occur to me as a sound that like fits with me somehow. I don't know. Anyway, it was good to try, but I can tell just from hearing the timbre that I'm not going to use it. Okay. Neil, welcome. Good to see you. Definitely changes the vibe, yeah. So, okay. Let's go to the beginning a little bit. Oh yeah, and then the other day I had this groove come to me that I recorded as a voice memo. So I might try to build that out today too, which is totally separate from this, but it was one of those ones that I was like, oh, this is feeling good. And I keep having this idea of trying, kind of like what happens in this song, I guess. The thing I'm curious about is like, trying to blend stuff that's like really groovy, funky, and if it was played in minor keys would be like just cool, like hip or something, you know, but then put like pretty stuff on it, especially if there's major keys involved or whatever. I wonder if that works. Like it's kind of working in this song, right? I think that, anyway, parts of this are a bit like that. Like if that groove was minor key, you know, you could make it sound really like neo soul, kind of cool. Everything's ninths, minor, modal interchange stuff. But putting this stuff on top of it gives it like this different, the ghibli vibe apparently. So I'm curious about exploring that world because I love groovy stuff and I love backbeats and I want to just like but I also just love all the pretty stuff that you can do in this sort of harmonic and melodic universe. So anyway, I had this groove in mind that I recorded into the phone that I'll perhaps try to build out just quickly, or maybe I'll even do it in this session because all the instruments are already loaded, and just to see if it works. Get what you mean about brass can be a tad forceful. French horn, perhaps. That's what I was using, Neil. It was French horn. Like brass, when it's high, like trumpets, in funk contexts and jazz contexts, I can do that. Somehow feels like it aligns with me. But the mid-range and low, thick, regal, proud sounding brass is so cool sounding, but it's somehow it just doesn't jump out to me as like what I want to make. Yeah, low mid brass feels epic. Yeah, and it sounds just fucking awesome. You know, when you hear a really good one with nice lines and they're moving and they like have suspensions and they resolve them and this crunchy stuff and whatever, like you can do so much good stuff with the low brass. But it is like, ooh, yeah. Benjamin, good to see you again. Glad you can make it. All right, so let's just look a little bit into the intro here. So I'm gonna have to have probably a second addictive drums that's loaded with mallets. So let's do it. We have the power. Anybody working on any cool music stuff at the moment? Stuff that you're practicing or music you're making, studying? I can turn this off, and this is going to be a mallet kit. So I forget where that even is. It's like... Do I even have a mallet kit? I must. Yeah, I must. There we go. So all I'm really interested in at the moment is the cymbals, which I can't hear. Oh, going the wrong direction. Just creating ambient loops these days. Oh, that's cool. Right? Just wondering, like, which one of these will be the best. A little bit brighter. Funky sticks. Whatever, let's go with that. Let's go with it. Finally working with a singer-songwriter and music production is underway. It's pretty exciting. Great, Neil, that's cool. So you are taking recordings of them and what, adding instruments or Dippin? Welcome. Appreciate that. Do I say your name right, Dippin? I'm sorry if I don't. Okay. Oh, we have the snare too. Oh, and the toms. Let's make sure there's like very little to no compression on any of this, which is the case. And we can actually increase, perhaps, the effect of velocity on volume. So we can get stronger rolls. What was the number I went to? 174. Did I actually go to the same? No. Oh yeah, I did. Wow. Okay, and then could probably do the same on the cymbals. I don't know. I've never done that before. You know, maybe you don't have to. We'll try to avoid it. Exactly, doing arrangement and production. It's acoustic guitar, bass, pop, rock type thing. Very cool, Neil. That sounds fun. Sounds fun. Okay, so I was thinking about leaving the beginning like just totally open. This is where you really want sticks to be able to do this, but I'm just gonna... I don't know what I'm gonna have to do. Just try something and see what happens. It was cool, except for the very first one. It's pretty loud. Oh, that's not what I want. I was thinking more like this, probably. It's terrible. And then like, maybe this to this. Don't mind that. Could do without these, maybe. Yeah. And then I get the toms. Tom roll somehow. Oh, it's so sensitive. I don't quite know how to do it because, yeah. Let's see. Something like that. So I play these on 2 separate keys, so I'm just gonna pull them down. And it's really hard to play them accurately with fingers on the keyboard, so I don't know. Just gonna have to see. Yeah, look at that. It looks terrible. Let's try to just solve some of this a little bit. There must be a better way to do this. Like I say, having a controller that would allow me to use sticks would be probably pretty ideal. I should really get one of those. And then we will just like some of these. This is pretty nice, but played pretty rough. Sure, this is riveting for you. Making music in a DAW like this is like sculpting. You know, that's what it feels like to me anyway. I don't sculpt, so I don't actually know that, but that's what it feels like, sort of in some capacity to me, that you know, you have this opportunity to shape in what we'd call like an audio experience from beginning to end, and you're not confined by certain parameters that you are confined by when you're recording with mics or with a band or whatever. Not that those things are better or worse than this. I just mean in this capacity, you have the opportunity to shape everything, to be fine-grained, detailed, and that's what I like about it. It's this quality of like, you rough out everything, and then you finer and 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 finer until every little detail, you know, create this sort of music sculpture or something. All right, let's hear what that sounds like. Actually, we'll try to get this. It's not bad. I wonder if we can start. How about this? Start here. It's an interesting idea. And if, like, what if like this was over here and this sort of like died out, and then was also like, oops, here and like faded in. bunch of things I want to do there. First thing was, when it comes to this, I missed a couple messages, sorry. Tommy, hey Tommy, can you, by the way, say a few words about the importance of good quality interfaces like the Apollo or the new PreSonus Quantum recording mics? Maybe my focus phrase cloud's good enough. Doesn't matter, Tommy. It doesn't matter. So long as you can get your mic in and you have enough inputs and you're not having any weird issues, you don't need to have a better interface, despite what companies will tell you. It's the difference between them is going to be so small, and no one is going to not listen to your music because the interface you had wasn't good enough. That's for sure. Much better to spend that money on something that will improve the quality of your music in some substantial way, which could either be instruments or virtual instruments, effects, education, depending on the kind of music you want to make. That's, in my opinion, the better way to spend the money. Savik, welcome. Good to see you. Like this, it's like a sunrise. You're talking about the symbols at the beginning, probably. Yeah. Okay, so what I wanted to try was when this part comes in. It's kind of like just a groove and no melody or anything yet, but the top notes of this synth, which only comes in at this part, but I quite like it, so I'm keeping it. Right. That kind of forms like a little melody. And I was wondering, what if we played that melody on the bass flute in its highest register, because it gets this really like thin, airy sort of quality to it. And I wonder if we could kind of piggyback that a little bit. I mean, it's not much of a melody. It is in certain places like this one. Okay, so I have no idea what octave this is in, probably. Yeah, like that. It's pretty cool, right? You don't have to fine tune it, but we'll just get a rough approximation. No, it's too breathy. Yeah, and too fluty. We're gonna hear the flutes again in a second. So no, was an idea, but it didn't work. Okay, then I wanted to try. Oh yeah. Just this. Maybe not even these. Yep. Then remove the kicks and the bass. Oh. Thinking kind of like this, just let this one note or something fade that smoother though, but yeah, something like that. I don't know, like if this was up here. No, it's really not great. if we just grab this. No, I need a different pattern, so I'm not going to use that. My little clink clonks. I like that little thing, it's cool. Dit-dramp. See what if it's like this. Cool pattern. Something like that. It's gonna mute it here, but in fact here as well. Oops. But then starting here could be cool. Don't need these low ones, I guess. Should be empty. Get rid of these. This could even be caca. Let's go with that for now. Put it here. So let's see. Yeah, so we'll take this. And what's the pattern? just right on the beat. So we'll take this and say I just want basic. Ticka 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 ticka. Egg 16. Oh, it changed it. I see. All right, we're just gonna have to kind of do this myself. Ay, ay, ay. Doesn't play that first one. Decca, decca. Decca, 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 decca. I guess I could have just shortened the length of this too. It probably would have worked. You're feeling like the musician left its lungs in the flute. Yeah, it is a cool sound. Mo Hoodie. That bass line is so nice. Thanks. I'm glad you like it. D Carmike. Good to see you. What's the plugin we're seeing right now? We're seeing Skaka by Clevgrand. I really like their plugins. Ting, Skaka, Borsta. And they also have a new one called One Shot, which is like a full sort of drum solution, like battery or something. Okay, now shuffling. Let's just put this in and then we'll make adjustments. What is it? G? G. Okay, so this can come in here. It's actually pretty nice. It's harsh sounding right now, but I think could be interesting. harsh. Something else is like changing how this is behaving or something. I don't actually understand how to use this thing. Maybe it's this. No, this is like, what is this divided into? This is kind of confusing me right now. Doom, da, 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 da. So it should be 1, 2, 3, 4. So this needs to be like here. And this needs to be here. Oh, now I forget my pattern. Yeah. Okay, so maybe we'll do like this. This is gone. This is cha, 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 cha. Yeah, it's a shame that the samples are kind of harsh. I'd have to EQ them or something, but that's all right. That's A sharp. Now, if I don't play this right here, but I start it here, does it still work? The original sound could have been reduced 3 dB and been less frequent. It would work. You mean the whatever it was called with the G, ching, metallic thing. Point the beat. Thanks. Yeah, I do like the sound. Maybe like you say, maybe if it was less frequent. I actually want this to be double length, and I don't know how to do that where like you could, oops, like just, there must be a way to like click and it would just double this whole thing for you. But yeah, I don't know how to do that. I mean, the human sounding one. Yeah, it was probably me. I'm not sure. Yeah, I do need this to be doubled anyway, so let's do this, and then that's it. I'm turning down the wrong one. Okay. That could be an idea, Neil, recording myself doing it. I don't know. Sometimes I do that. Need some more still, but And then I could like go back here. You know? Yeah, we don't need this. Isn't that the shortcut? I swear, every time I do this thing. Isn't this the shortcut for select everything? Alt-L. Is it not? Anyway. Just sample one, and then you could play with varying velocities in the F2 editor. Yeah, MIDI editor. Yeah, perhaps. I don't feel like doing that right now, but maybe. If there's a Studio Ghibli anime with this track, it would probably be about funky rats who do business on Wall Street and who sit in a classy jazz bar. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Funky rats. Here we need the drums to also say something. Little change up. You know, something like that. Dot. Boop boop. Now here instead of this, oh god, sorry. Put a couple cymbals, played lightly. Right. This should actually be here. Ah. Like that, but with these maybe. Could even do without the flutes. And what's happening here? I don't know, but it doesn't matter. I must have run over something. I must have had another part sitting over here. Oh well. Like, what if we just straight up... I should probably glue these. Oops. Let's do this. And then let's actually... Instead of these being rides, what if they were... hats? Pretty cool. Excuse me. A comp. This is how you take your Sunday to the max. It's true. Psst. Kind of cool. I don't know about having the flutes in. They could just be muted. I don't know about keeping the kick out here. Could put it back in. Doom, doom, doom. However, as cool as that syncopated hi-hat part is, we have been hearing a lot of it, so it would be possible, like, let's just move this over for a sec. It would be possible to do something more just straight ahead, and probably would work out pretty well, because it would be a good contrast from the constant syncopation. You know, even just that. Could also have the eighths nice and low. You know, I don't know, it's okay. What if it was tight? That's pretty good too. So in which case, maybe we do want this. Got to hang out with a composer this weekend, and he thought your ear training stuff was interesting. In my opinion, I haven't heard anyone articulate methods of improv the way you have for me. I don't know. What can I say? I don't know either. Some people will like it. Some people won't. A lot of people seem to enjoy the perspective anyway. I think honestly, it's pretty obvious perspective that, you know, that you just learning to recognize certain feeling states, not like ideas or musical entities or theory or whatever, as much as I love that stuff. You'll always call the F2 editor. User can't go wrong memorizing a function as the actual way to A. Absolutely, Neil. I hear you. Now, what if we did kaka? Every time on the 1 or on the 2. Could even throw another one in here, you know. welcome everybody, by the way, who's here, either returning friends or new people. Regardless, if you're interested in chatting or you have suggestions or you want to ask a question or, I don't know, anything at all, you're more than welcome to. Doesn't mean I'm going to rope you into a conversation. In fact, I'm not going to. Sometimes that's the way. We're watching streamers of some sort. And sometimes I feel like, I want to message them and say something, but I don't want to be like, hey, I'm here and I'm ready to talk for the next hour. So then I don't say anything. I'm more systematic in the way I understand things. So I appreciate having some sort of system to learn on, at least as I'm breaking in. Yeah. I'm very systematic too. I've always been, though in certain respects in the last 15 years or 10 years at least, that is loosened, not loosened, but in addition to, has become more and more of a less systematic, more flowy thing. But I don't know if that is, just enabled in part because of the familiarity with the systems, perhaps. But yeah, generally most of my musical career, at least in the beginning, I was really focused on theory and learning the way it should be. At least that's how I thought of it now. Now I think, at least that's how I thought of it then. Now I think of it as the way it can be. Theory and the systems are a kind of example of the way it can work, but not the way it should work, or must work, or will work. And obviously, prior to those systems being discovered, of course, when I talk about systems, I'm not saying that these are like objective things existing in music. They're just mental frameworks. But prior to those mental frameworks being invented and disseminated, there was different kinds of ideas and different music. And the thought was probably that, there was some understanding of what was going on there. And then new stuff happens and they say, oh, wait, we need to accommodate this. As one of my teachers says, I can't remember if he's quoting someone else, something like, theory is the asshole of music. It comes last. That's not to say it isn't important. You obviously need an asshole, but, you don't start with it. I guess maybe depends who you are. You want to talk, then click it. Basically get the basics down, then you build on your own interpretations around it. Exactly. I can produce something just using DAW tricks and samples, but I have no idea to explain what I did or how to repeat it necessarily. Yeah, that's how it was for me, Comp. I just came across so many things that I'm like, damn, this is so cool, but I don't know how to save this for later. The bits of information were so specific to what was happening in the moment of that moment. And so I would discover some interesting chord or voicing or melody move or whatever bass thing and think, wow, that's so cool. But all I knew it as was in this song at this moment I played this chord and that's cool. But I couldn't, repeat it in other keys or make variations on it or understand how to invert it or orchestrate it across other instruments or imply it with melody or whatever, right? All of the ability to sort of manipulate the thing is really helped by having some mental frameworks to sort of, it's almost like you gain a sort of imaginary perspective on the thing, on the chord or the melody, or as if it's like an object and you can look at it from different sides and you say, oh yes, F minor 9. Yeah, it could also be this, it could be this, it could be this, it could be this. I could remove some notes, which when you don't have any system of thought to conceptualize these aspects of music in, you can't do that. But that doesn't mean that that it's necessary that you should be able to do that. It's not a problem. It's just that if you're wanting to make particular sounds and you can't do them instinctively, then probably you do need a system. And that's the way it was for me. Most of the sounds that I wanted to make that I would hear in music I would listen to, stuff that I would hear and just say, what is that? That stuff I couldn't really instinctively come to myself. I just didn't have the ear for it. So there are people that do. I know people that can do that, but I was not one of them. Shawnee, welcome, Shawnee. I have a question about sensing the major scale. Is it better to learn each degree separately? For example, sensing first, third, and fifth degrees in each scale, or all at once? Well, it's like anything. You need to learn them one by one. You're not going to, there's just no way you're going to get them all at once. And when we say the major scale, it's best thought that the major scale is just a subsection of what we call the chromatic scale. It's just like one particular configuration of scale degrees, a selection of them. But in the end, or even in the beginning, I think it's at least good to have in your periphery that there's simply a tonic, and then there are all the degrees that relate to it. You're not learning a bunch of different scales. You separate it into scales maybe to begin with, so that it's easier to focus on just particular things. If you say major pentatonic probably is even a good place to start, because then it removes a couple of the tones. You have even less notes to work with. But yeah, you want to learn probably a fifth first, and then perhaps a third, and then a second, and the rest is kind of whatever, 4, 6, 7, whatever comes easiest for you. You may as well start with those. But eventually, the goal is that you're just familiar with the feelings of all of the degrees, 1, flat 2, 2, flat 3, 3, 4, sharp 4, blah, blah, blah. And you don't distinguish them into a bunch of different scales. It's just the scales are selections of the 12 that you know. And then at any point, you can hear or produce any given selection just by knowing what the formula of the scale is. Neil, growing up loving music, curiosity alone about what makes it work generated an urge to dig into music theory. But not for everybody, though. And I shouldn't say that. Of course, for everybody who's curious about what makes it work, yeah, they will. But a lot of people grow up loving music and they're not curious about how it works. They just love it and they just like to be with it, and that's all. That's fine. I've met a lot of people like that, and they make great music, honestly, a lot of the time. And yet there's other people like yourself and myself that just want to know how it works, but I want to know how everything works too. I think that's a part of my general way of being, and perhaps yourself too. It's like not just music, but anything. The universe, technology, human beings. There's just the mindset of sort of being a student of life, basically, that anything and everything that happens is an opportunity to gain insight or understand interrelationship and mechanics, and so on. I think having that disposition, which a lot of people do have as well, that kind of person probably is going to want to dig into music theory, not even from the perspective of there's sounds I want to make and I don't know how to make them, but from the perspective of I just want to know how it works because it's so cool. And that's how I feel, for sure. Coffrey, you're a great musician and we love it. With I'm Sexy and I Know It song. Appreciate that, Coffrey. You've mentioned similar, but he recommended that I try to get lessons to shortcut some of the self-learning for a solid feedback loop. I was expecting time constraints being one of my main hang-ups. I guess mentorship. Yeah, there's no doubt, Conv. Obviously, if you have the financial ability to have a mentor and you're open to that kind of thing, like that interests you, absolutely you should find someone that you resonate with that knows more than you and you trust, and it can completely change your musical world or whatever it is that you're working on. In the end, you still have to make all the mistakes, but having someone guide you through those mistakes, and you can save time with a teacher, of course, because the teacher will understand which paths lead nowhere. That doesn't mean that you still don't have to walk down there and find out it leads nowhere, but there's something in being prepped for it. I don't know what, it's hard to put into words, but more important than any of that about having a teacher, especially I mean, ideally, your teacher is someone that you can be with in person, because being able to be next to someone in the flesh, doing the thing together, there's something else that happens. There's more than just the words, and there's no lag. It's just this real-time experience, and something of the mentor gets into you in that, because the way that the mentor is, or the teacher is not just a bunch of knowledge about music, hopefully, but it's a whole way of being, and it's a whole way of perceiving music. And so by spending time with that person, just like by spending time with friends, you sort of embody some of them, it just happens, or with your partner, or with your animals, your kids, or whatever. So I think there is something pretty important about that. That's not to say that that doesn't happen also when lessons are online. That's also totally possible, especially if the connection is good and you can, you want to see the person, you want to see their face and the way they speak, and everything is important. Everything is important to it. It's not just this person is a repository of knowledge and I'm going to go to them and they're just going to put it in. No, it's like some kind of whatever, energetic melding situation. How would you compare some of your methods versus what you imagine are some popular alternatives in terms of using your ear and applying theory? I don't think that that way that I do it is the way. It's just a way, and you should probably explore all of the ways, because in the end, as I often say, everything gets used. So all of the way that ear training apps do it, and Functional Ear Trainer does it, and people teach online, it's all cool too. And then this perspective is perhaps a way to augment that, and maybe perhaps a way to stick close to the real article, which is the sound, which is the feeling, which is the experience itself. That's important. It's just to always be sticking close to the actuality of the music, not a conceptual abstraction. Even though the conceptual abstractions are helpful, there's no doubt about it, you do want to stick close to the actual experience of the music and not forget that's what it's all about. So yeah, I think in that regard, my method, which is not my method, it's literally thousands of years people have been doing this. This method is just good for that, because I think a lot of people in the West end up anyway getting very conceptual about it, and this maybe points you a little bit back to being with the actuality of the music. So many chats. I like learning how to do new things, but it starts to become a tad frustrating once you really dive into it intricately. I only know chord progressions and just mess around and see how it works out. Everything on the surface appears to be so simple, roughly. Even if you think something's complex on the surface, then it's really, really complex when you get into it most of the time. And when you first start learning some music and you gain some knowledge about chords and scales and things, it seems like, oh, wow, I'm really starting to understand it. And then you just do more and more and more, and you're like, holy shit, I don't know anything. That's what happens. Been ear training for a few months now with a good pace. I've been stuck on major, minor, 6th and 7th for 2 months with little progress. Any advice for these types of roadblocks? Welcome, Paliak. The advice is you can't force it. So you have to simply let it take the time it takes. And that might mean that you stop doing it for a while. You stop practicing and you lose interest, and that's fine. And then you come back to it later and something has happened. But generally, it's purely a matter of exposure, to put it simply. It's a matter of just how many times have you heard those sounds and had the correct labels on them, pretty much. They're not any more complex or different than the other ones. They're just less frequent, that's all. So there's no way to force it. Even if you were to do it every day and do just those, perhaps you'd learn it in a week, perhaps you'd learn it in a year, perhaps 5 years. There's no way to know. So just to be easy and relaxed with it and say, this is just not clear to me right now. And the way that gets solved is a sort of subconscious process. It's not something that you can think about and force. So You just play them more, you hear them more, you do the app more, that's all. And then over time, you'll find that suddenly it will just appear to you one day, and you'll just say, damn, that's a sixth, minor sixth. You love to learn and go deep about everything that interests you. It's magic. Shawnee says, for me, producing a note, generating the feeling of a specific note is not difficult. I can produce a given sound without a reference point, but distinguishing a specific note when someone else plays it is very difficult for you. Producing a note, generating the feeling of a specific note is not difficult. I can produce a given sound without a reference point, but distinguishing a specific note when someone else plays. And when we're saying just distinguishing a specific note, though, we're not obviously talking about like it's C sharp or A or something. We're talking about it's 5 or flat 2, which for me, yeah, they are different, producing and recognizing, but they're very related. And yeah, the difference is too that when you usually hear notes in the wild, they're accompanied by various harmonic context, whereas when it's in your mind or when it's over a drone or something, it's much more clear and straightforward because it's just one level of relationship. But when you hear the fifth of a scale in the midst of some chord progression, and the chord is not the one chord at that moment, a tonic chord, then there's a whole bunch of harmonic complexity that happens there, and that actually does take sorting out. It does take some work to get better at that. He's a teacher, but is passionate about fully digital composition. He's a Logic user and has 168 gigabytes of RAM. He was actively using 300. So he's like an orchestral composer. Using your sense of tempo. A song played at midday will seem too slow. That happens to me too, Neil, honestly. My own music. I'll listen to it over and over, and then like I could open this song tomorrow morning and just have the strongest feeling that it's just suddenly too slow. And I think, how did I never notice this? And then I listen to it again later in the day and I think, no, it's perfect. And then later I think, damn, it's so fast. You know, this happens all the time. All right, that's the comments. Yeah, I was working on this little thing. Okay. KJP. Nice to see you as always. Change something here for this second repetition. So right here, we're going to go. Probably stop these guys too. It's pretty cool. Other than like the main chords are just really square in terms of like the rhythm. Just gonna fix that at some point. Is ear training very useful in learning to sing? Ear training is very useful in everything musical, but that doesn't mean it's essential for everyone. You can go your entire life without doing any specific ear training, and that's completely fine. And people learn to sing amazingly and have never thought about it once in their life. And great, that's the goal. So ear training is useful for those that it's useful for. And you'll find out if that's you, because either you'll have an interest in doing it or you will have problems that ear training ends up solving for you at some point, which is the same as having an interest in doing it. It would just mean that the interest might be one that is, I don't know, organic, it's the wrong word, one that is just, you just are already interested, curious, or you hit walls and you have problems, and then someone mentions, oh, what about this? And you become interested because of the pain and frustration of the problem you're having. But it's by no means essential for everyone to do it. And it's by no means true that across the board great musicians have great ears in terms of, great musical sensibility, but that's not the same as being able to work out music by ear without efforting or whatever, as is often some of the goals of ear training, is to be able to, this type of ear training is to be able to understand what you're hearing as you hear it. So you know what the chords are, you know what the melody notes are, you know what the mode is, you know what the rhythms are, whatever. Anything that you want to extract from the music through a conceptual layer so that you can play it on your instrument or put it in the DAW or whatever, then ear training allows you to be specific about that and really be able to get it. But if that's not cool for you, then that's cool. If you're asking the question, you're probably the target audience. Exactly. Madhur, welcome. Do you give private lessons? I do, but very occasionally, and not usually in like a weekly ongoing thing. I did do private lessons for most of my life since I was 15, but then I kind of slowed down on that in the past years. But that's not to say that I don't do them still. I do. If someone is interested in it, they can just contact me through the contact form on my website, and then we'll see. Because sometimes what's best is not actually doing private lessons, and maybe I'll have a different idea depending on what your goals are or whatever about what you should do or who you should get lessons from or whatever. What do you think about Ed Sheeran? For you, is he a good musician? Camila, welcome, Camila. I don't know, Camila. I don't really know much about Ed Sheeran. I only know some of the songs that I've heard, and I know I've seen him like do some looping and whatever, but a lot of people seem to think he's a great musician, obviously. So I don't have an opinion, though. You could absolutely fill your schedule with him, so I'd imagine it's a tough call. I do miss teaching one-on-one in the way that I used to do, to a certain extent, because it's just cool. It's cool to build, it's fun to build a relationship with someone, see them every week, talk about music for an hour, 2 hours. Watch progress happen. I learn when I teach. It's just a nice social aspect to life that I'm not so involved with these days. Especially not as I was, which was with kids and teenagers and adults and seniors. I only have a couple of running students at the moment, and one is a woman who's in her 70s. And we have a great time. Been teaching her for years. What's your favorite jazz fusion band artist? My favorite jazz fusion band artist is Pat Metheny. But there's lots of other ones. But if I had to choose one, Pat Metheny and the Pat Metheny Group, by far the most influential musician on me, period. There's other ones that are way up there too, but if we're going to pick one, that's the one I have to pick. Okay, Frio, Nice to see you. You've had good and bad experiences teaching. Can be draining. Yeah, I know. Hey, Raf. Amigo, welcome. When you listen a song, can you see in your mind what sounds are used and how, like in a DAW? Yeah, for sure. I think it's just natural. I've spent so much time in a DAW translating piano rolls and colored blocks into sounds and hearing them at the same time that they're sort of symbols for each other now. So yeah, makes sense. Welcome, FA, if that's the way to say it. Okay, so thinking this one should stop. Right. Amigo, I can't understand what you're writing, unfortunately. I don't have an easy way to translate it. You'll have to translate it and post it in English if you want me to say something to it. Is it stupid to ask what a duh is? Oh, a duh. Daw. That's pretty funny. Yeah, digital audio workstation. A duh. Working in the duh. Oh, Raf, yeah, I was thinking about you yesterday because I heard some months ago that someone here was going to do an artist in residency program, and that was going to happen at some point. And the person is here now, apparently, and contacted me because they know we have a mutual friend. And so anyway, hopefully I'm going to hang out with that person. But they're here for, I don't know, something like what you did, right? For some weeks or months or something, and just making music and working on stuff all the time and whatever. So anyway, it's just touched into my world, someone who's in that position and then suddenly appeared in my inbox saying, hey. So thought about you. I think this music you're making is going to be just right for those 24-hour live Cafe Jazz YouTube channels. That's great. I'll make my own. You just got rejected from one. Damn. Gotta bring the oboe back later. It's only in like 2 sections or 1. Yeah, nice vibe at the end there. I can dig that. Dancing to the clouds. Dancing in the clouds of the song. That's great. That's basically the idea. Mo Hoodie. Dancing in the clouds. Why don't people do music with different frequency which are not in the scales, and why do people use the sounds that are predetermined? How and why did they determine and agree upon do, re, mi? Well, people do, by the way. People definitely do all over the world play music that is not in our tuning system. But how and why did our system become what it is a long and complex thing. It has, a combination of physiological and universal factors like the harmonic series and the way that our ear parses that, as well as historical factors and our desire for consonant sounds and simple ratios and the way that harmony evolved. I mean, there's so many aspects to it. And eventually that means that people grow up in a culture in which that's the music they hear from a very early age. And so their mind is able to understand it and interpret it, which means predict it correctly. It's able to understand how it moves and the ways that it moves. And so there becomes a satisfaction in that, in hearing new ways of organizing the same material that work off of what is already known, even subconsciously within the listener, but uses it in different ways and finds different routes. And there's so many possibilities, especially because of Western harmony and the way that we stack notes and do chords and progressions and things that, it's just obviously centuries of music can come from it and will continue to come from it. So there's no simple answer as to why with anything. What is that instrument that sounds like an extremely low-passed vibraphone or Rhodes? Works so nicely along with the bass. Just this thing? It's like a Rhodes, but it's a Planet something. Planet M? Planet T. Whatever that is. Thanks, Raf and Comp. Glad you like it. The instrument that plays pretty much solo from 77 to 85. Yeah, 77 to 85. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like a Rhodes, yeah. Planet was a competitor with the Rhodes. Oh, is that right? That's interesting. My country has a different system, but they are also limited, even if they are have more variety. I just want to be able to use all frequencies. Each of will have other feelings. Yeah, absolutely. And there's a whole world of microtonal music out there, FA, that you should really look into if you're interested in that stuff. Like people are doing all sorts of crazy stuff with playing in between standard musical ratios. There's a lot of it. Oh, Pianet. Pianet. I was just planet. I wanted to be planet. It's pronounced like piano. Pianet. Ah, microtonal music. This comes in a little suitcase. Yeah. Okay. Microtonal music. Yeah. Search it up. FA. There's so much of it. A lot of it's bad, but I mean, it's a subjective opinion. But a lot of music of every genre is bad. So, you might have to do some digging, but it's there. There's a woman that I like on YouTube that you should check out called Dolores Catharino, I believe is her name. Dolores Catharino. She has a lot of compositions in all sorts of different tuning systems with different crazy instruments that are meant to be played on them, meant to play these types of things. So, yeah, that's perhaps a good starting point, at least one that I can recommend. I do know of other people as well, but I haven't listened to enough of the music. Some Tibetan throat singing would make this track pop. Smokey, good to see you again. All right. um, this needs to like come down real sharply. Sharper. Without the bass note there, you can't even really tell because, oh yeah, because the A flat, the bass is the only thing playing the A flat at that moment. And I was wondering, can we like do this part in a different key? Because I feel like I've been hearing this too much now. I get sick of hearing a key for too long, so I need to, by this point, I want it to be different. So I can use the opportunity I have here since I'm not playing the bass for these chords. I could like look at a few of them and recontextualize these upper structures as something else, and then use a bass note to do the recontextualizing, and then bring it into something new. There are microtonal elements to normal music too. Yeah, it's totally true. Jacob Collier does a tremendous job discussing microtonal music. DJ Handy, welcome. Yeah, Jacob is something else. Right, so I've sort of got like I think that's, no, I'm playing, this is the voicing I'm playing with the bass. So we could look at this differently. Yeah, I mean, that kind of sounds like 5 chord in C now. So we could potentially hit F. I really like key changes that go down 2 whole steps. Because why? Because you're removing, you remove 4 sharps, right? Yeah. From A to F, you're removing 4 sharps. If I finish your 3 levels of Udemy course, which level will I be? Level 3, apparently, in the course levels. I don't know what level you'll be, FA. It's really up to you in terms of what you're trying to do and how much time you practice. Finishing the courses, even reading like all the books and all the courses you could possibly find, is going to certainly help, but it's not going to like mean that you get to skip years or something of practice and experience. Yeah. Bass Papa, welcome. Good to see you. How many people see you? Channel is hacked, Camila. I don't know what you mean. The channel was hacked for a few days, but it got solved. I was going to make a video about it, and then I didn't. Story of my life. But it's all good now. But yeah, I mean, it really flatlined the channel for a few days there. I'm not worried about that. If it's meant to, it will simply go back to the way that it was before in terms of like subscriber growth and views and whatever, but it doesn't matter that much. Okay, so this, yeah, right. I'm thinking, can I put this down to F? And he's gonna, yeah, brute forcing it is probably gonna be ridiculous. I am gonna take the time to do it right now though, because I want to. So what I'm gonna do is grab all the chords in bass and throw them down. And then I'm gonna reassess voicings. Let's reassess bass first. You know, I'm just gonna, yeah, like I say, kind of brute force this at the moment. So. Yeah, something like that. This is like a duplicate, right? Is it? Maybe not. Yeah, it must be. Yeah. It's kind of interesting being that low with the exact same voicings. It's kind of cool. Thanks, Neil. Appreciate it. I'm planning a major in math. Can that be useful in music? And is there any co-working projects going on? I'm not sure what that means, co-working projects, but math can definitely be useful in music in many ways. I make lots of atonal music, practically unlistenable. I thought it would be worse transposed. I should say, F.A., it's not like math is going to help you in your regular life as a musician for the most part, but you can do many musical things with math, and you can work on musical projects from a mathematical perspective. But in terms of like playing music, knowing any kind of advanced math probably isn't super helpful, I don't think. I in high school, at the time, I really wanted to be a theoretical physicist, believe it or not. That was the goal in my life. So I took all of the hardest classes that I could, you know, just the, what do they call it? There's in Canada, there's a term, AP or something. Yeah. Anyway, like chemistry, physics, math, biology, calculus, anything, but the highest that they would let me take it. And I just tried to do that so I could apply to some universities that I wanted to get into. But then I decided at the end of high school, nah. I gave up on all that. Thought it would be worse transposed. Yeah, me too. But I'm gonna try now just to see, flipping a few of these guys up probably wouldn't hurt. Something like that. That's the note. Could have been this. I guess it's got to be this. Just don't like this. When I see this kind of voice leading, it makes me like gag. Where did this note come from? No. But there isn't really a good solution. I mean, this guy's dropping down to here. I just don't like this motion. Maybe. It's going to be too low, yeah. Oh, yeah, right, exchanges there. If it sounds good, it's good voice leading. Can't argue with that, Ref. I unironically like the nice singing. Thanks, Mo. Time for jazz scatting. Yeah, man, I actually love doing that. After I've been listening to jazz for a little bit in a day, which is every day, but if it's jazz that's got a lot of soloing in it, I just, for like the next hour, I can't help it. I'm just in falsetto for some reason. You know, I just do this for, you know, it just goes on and on and on. It's just so much fun to mimic and imitate. You know, when you hear a certain thing for a while, you want to just, I want to just spit it out and try to like improvise with it and play around. And if I could do this, what would I do? And think about the phrasing and whatever. Do you make trap hip hop? No, I don't, but I've made some things in the past that are ish in that world, but I don't make like the modern kind of hip hoppy trap thing so much. I did do a challenge that got made into a video where I did an old school hip hop track that blended into a new school hip hop track, but it's not trap per se, and I'm not really a trap listener. I like trap, electronic trap, I should say that. I'm a big fan of electronic trap, which is very different from hip hop trap. It's funny that they had the same name, but anyway, it's not that I can't dig it, I can. It just depends on what it is, and you know, the beat obviously is a big part of it. Here, let me play this thing. This is from a challenge from a long time ago. A long time ago. 3 years ago, 2 years ago, something like that. So most people here wouldn't have heard it probably, unless you've seen the video or something, but it was old versus new. That was the idea for the challenge. It was like take a genre, I think, and do like half of the track in an old, like what that genre would have been some decades ago, and then what it is today. I think that was the idea. So anyway, here's the track. This is going to be a bit loud, so I'm going to try to turn it down for you on this end. Hopefully it's not too quiet. Let's see, let's try that. This is my old school. I like fucking shit up like that. When you break in with the big bone, yeah. One day, we'll get the album drop. I also have I also have some trappish stuff in the song that I did for the Studio One version 6. Which is this. Did I not? I don't have it there anymore. Oh my God, this is I'm looking at the session right now, or the folder. You know, it's one of these things where Rhythm of the Night, draft, V1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, this one's different, bass only, drums only, this, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, this, you know, version 19 I'm looking at right here. I actually don't know if I even have like where I put the final finished version, but this one must be must be basically it. If you haven't heard it here, check this track. Check this track out.
There's something in the air. All the stars are twinkling in tempo. The moon is ours to share, singing to us softly like an echo. Now let's let go of all that brought us slow. The shadows dancing slow, and so are we. The energy's on beat. It's clear that you and me are vibing on the right frequency. Don't be shy, go on and feel the rhythm of the night, rhythm of the night. Let your heartbeat sing up with the rhythm of the night, rhythm of the night. And it goes like your pulse, my pulse pumping, your beat, my beat jumping. Know it's something you can't find. Don't be shy, go on and feel the rhythm of the night, rhythm of the night. And it goes like dum da 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 dum da dum, dum da 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 dum da dum, rhythm of the night, rhythm of the night. And it goes like dum da 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 dum da dum, dum da 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 dum da dum, rhythm of the night, rhythm of the night. Stop for a minute, let me catch my breath. Sweat dripping on my big old mess. Put my hips to the test when I dance like this. But I miss seeing breasts when you blessed with the best. All night rocking with you, rolling like a train, baby, choo, choo. Hot like I'm cinnamon, drop like a Benjamin. Bounce, check, check, on my love being. No worries, we ain't gotta hurry till the AM. Nobody gonna tell our bodies how to dance, dance. Hold me, baby, eye to eye. Feel me swing side to side. Got me feeling so alive. Don't be shy, go on and feel the rhythm of the night, rhythm of the night. Let your heartbeat sing up with the rhythm of the night, rhythm of the night. And it goes like your pulse, my pulse pumping, your beat, my beat jumping. Know it's something you can't find. Don't be shy, go on and feel the rhythm of the night, rhythm of the night. And it goes like the energy's amazing as you pull me close. So hypnotic, I can't break the spell. Your arms are feeling like a haven. So baby, don't let go. It's baby rock just like a carousel. I wanna keep the flow with you. Stay up till dawn, just go with the rhythm of the night, the rhythm of the night. The sky is still studded with stars, so let's not think and go with the rhythm of the night. Don't be shy and feel the rhythm.
That was a mission. I haven't heard that in a long time now. It's cool to hear again. And when I was working on that, it was a mission, man. That was like, I haven't really worked that hard on a track in a long time. Came out well. It was all with stock instruments too, right? That was the thing. There's no third-party VSTs or effects or anything. It's just all stock Studio One stuff. The vocals, Alina Smith is her name, right? Alina Smith. Funny enough, she primarily works in the sort of K-pop world, not J-pop, but she writes music for K-pop artists and records, I think, too. I don't actually know if she's featured on the tracks. Does PreSonus feature you or send you any cool things to try out? Yeah, they have sent me some cool things for sure. But I don't know if they'll do it much more because I don't end up doing anything with it. I don't end up actually making videos about it or whatever. You know, I just, because it doesn't end up in my workflow. That's the thing. I kind of have like a really simple workflow and I have this cool stuff here, but then I think, I don't know. I don't really need it. Just need the piano, the MIDI keyboard, some microphones. That's not to say that I don't appreciate it. Of course I do. And my relationship with PreSonus is great. So I'm very happy for that. And I would love to do more stuff with them. but you know, at the moment, not. Gotta do a remix where she says it goes like, yeah. Hey, Mr. Quacker, good to see you. Your solos make me so happy. That's great, sweetie. I'm glad to hear it. I love writing solos. Swang. That's another. We did that. Said that in a rap, right? They don't know how to swang. Yeah, that's what it was. You were talking about that earlier. Have you ever used the candle blower preset on the native PreSonus multi-synth? It's sine wave bass perfectly leveled across the scale. Oh, really? Candle blower. A candle blower. We would do that at some music festivals before in the past, and like, you know, bass heavy stuff like dubstep and whatever, and lighters out right in front of the sub. Just push it out. Bye, Camila. If you're saying goodbye. I want to see what they gave you. Oh, the rap beef. I laughed at that when I read it. Now it's away. It's up the chat, Raf. I would rap beef with Rick Beato. That'd be hilarious. I would absolutely choose Rick Beato. Rick Beato or yeah, Jacob Collier. I don't know if Jacob Collier is considered a YouTuber. I'd like to do a rap battle with Jacob. That would be amazing. Trying to think who else would be like a funny option. I don't want to like do it funny and like pick on someone because they definitely can't rap. You know, you gotta pick someone that could do it. I'm not a rapper by any means, but I think I can write a rap. If I really were to sit down and put my head to it, my feeling is that I would be able to do something that's pretty good. And I'd want to do it with someone else that I get that feeling that it's like they're not a rapper and it would be hilarious to watch them rap, but they could probably do it. Anyone willing, really. Yeah. Rick Beato is the Drake of music YouTube. Oh my God. That would be pretty funny. I should start proposing that. Just reach out for YouTubers with collaboration and be like, yo, man, I'm a big fan of your channel. Been watching for a while. I'm at 40,000 subs now. Maybe you want to collaborate with me? And oh, yeah, sure. What do you want to do? Let's have a rap battle. I make the beat. Yeah. I would need, if someone else was going to make the beat, I'd have to be trusting of their skills because, you know, I feel like to get in the vibe, I need to have a proper, you know. I don't know, Mo, if you've ever heard any of the rap stuff that I did. It's not like full rap tracks or anything. I've just had just a couple of little things here and there where I rapped on them, but I always love it. It's just so much fun. And recently I did one for a challenge that was, oh, I don't think I ever bounced it. I wish I had it right here because it was cool. It was the G-Funk one. But I can't remember. I don't think I bounced it. I'm like six or more, 7 challenges behind in uploading right now, so don't tell anybody, but I am. G-Funk. Yeah, raps make you happy too. That's great. I'll open this so we can check it out because it was pretty fun. Now that we're in this zone and a little bit hyped up from that last track, I can play the current state of the, which I've now taken like literally weeks off of working on this, which for better or worse, perhaps better. The current state of the drum and bass track, which last I heard was sounding pretty good. I was going hard on it for a while there, off stream. I got to the end of what I felt was worthy of putting on stream because it would just get too annoying for people. And then I started really trying to get it dialed. And it's close. There's still chunks of it, and the end of it is not finished at all, I don't think, but Rex Murphy died a week or two ago. Who's Rex Murphy? I never heard. Little Max on the track with jazz. Make your hands crack and spaz. Groove like punks are too light for my gunman. People like to write these little raps about me in the chat. I like it. I just got to collect them all one day and actually put them in a track. Here's the well, will this one play right now? Let's see. This is the the G-Funk track, which does have some rapping on it. It's not a ton, but it's got some. Oh shit, it's loud.
You know it's G-Funk, we rowdy round the tree trunk. With honey drips, we make it hits until we feed 'em beat drunk. They call me the beat monk, tipsy on the game. Cooking up a doozy, feeling snoozy like the flame. Doja going down, smoking up a pound. Pass the shit around, you know we token, never choking, feel the ground. They passing me the crown. The throne owner, mind stone, a big bone. Phone a friend and get back, cause Mac told you it's a rap.
That was fun. I really like that track. I gotta finish it sometime. How many years I need for this kind of musicality? I don't know, FA. I needed my whole life. And you'll do something different. You'll do something different, which will be great too. So I don't have an answer. Yeah, the big bone of time, exactly. Was it from a production challenge? Yeah, it was. It was. But yeah, you'd rap battle me, Raph. That'd be great. That would actually be a blast. We should do one. We should do a challenge where everyone has to rap sometime. Can we do that? Like, maybe I'll make a beat, and then the challenge is just writing, then recording the rap, and everyone has to record on the same beat, and we just like put them end to end. Everyone's got a verse, and that's the challenge. That'd be pretty hilarious. I'd actually love to write something on it too. Yeah, absolutely. That would be great. We need to do it. We absolutely need to do it. I've got a Studio One question for you. Mind giving me your opinion on the subscription they have? Do you use any of the extra tools provided with the subscription? Is the new synth good? I haven't even tried the new synth, honestly, Joseph. And I don't have an opinion on the whole thing. Not for any good reason, I just don't. I'm not in a position where I have to decide what to do with the subscription because Presonus gifts it to me just because of the work that we've done together. So it's not something that I even really think about. And I would have to sit down and, you know, kind of pretend that I'm in the situation and think about what the model is and if it's any good. I just don't care that much, honestly. They're going to do whatever they want. And if that sucks, then people are going to leave and eventually that'll be a problem. And if it's cool, then it will grow and people will stay. Whatever it is, right now I'm just doing what I'm doing, and I love Studio One as a user experience, and happy with it. That's all I can say. As in terms of the other tools provided with a subscription, no, I use the it's called audio batch converter for work, but that's something that no one else really is going to care about, but it's awesome for anyone who actually ever needs to deal with audio files in batch. It's honestly a great tool, but otherwise I don't. But I think that a lot of the stuff that is bundled in it, you know, makes sense for people who are maybe earlier in the journey and don't already have like a huge collection of instruments and effects and stuff, right? Channel-wide rap battle, yeah, it'd be sick. Devin, hey, good to see you. Don't think they've gone too far yet. I feel like it remains to be seen. Yeah. I wanted to play this. This is a fusion track Maybe I'll probably go after this. We're approaching 3 hours, so. Sad thing about the switch to subscriptions is that it almost always results in less people using the tools themselves. Don't companies want that? How do you mean, Raf? Is that the only way to get it with a subscription? I was trying to buy it itself. I saw a $50 price tag on it. Oh, for the audio batch converter? Yeah, I think probably they put it in the subscription now, which is kind of a bummer, honestly. I don't really agree with that. I listen a lot of music, and it's been 11 years, but I kind of lack knowledge to understand my enhanced implicit memory and make use of it. Well, F.A., do you play an instrument? Do you produce music on the computer? It's one thing to be a music lover, but it's another thing to be a music producer. I produce the music, bro. It's a whole other world, so it would make sense if you haven't put a lot of time into that. But maybe you have. Avon, welcome. Good to see you. I always have an eye on Studio One while still using Cubase for general purpose for sound design. I use Bitwig. Yeah, Bitwig is the only one, honestly, that I'm kind of like, It's just so cool and interesting with lots of crazy features and routing possibilities. I have Bitwig, actually, but I don't use it because I'm not going to sit down and learn another DAW. The fact of the matter is that I don't think I ever really run into a situation with Studio One where I feel limited and I think this isn't working for me or something. I think any genre that I make, from electronic music to orchestral to rock to whatever that I do here on the channel, I do it all in Studio One, and I never come up against something where I think, oh, need a different DAW for this. I think it's just easy to desire different stuff because perhaps the problem lies in your tools and not in you, which obviously is very rarely the case. So it's easy just to want a new thing that will hopefully... But at the same time, a new thing sometimes is a fresh thing, and the freshness of seeing something different can be good, obviously, be inspiring. Like painting your room or something, right? Switching from PlayStation to Xbox. God forbid. You do play guitar and sing, okay. Like, don't companies want their tools to be used? Like, if it becomes far less accessible, they'll lose users. Yeah, of course. So, I mean, that's the thing. We talked about this a little while ago on another stream, I think, the idea being basically that a lot of companies these days anyway are generally moving towards practices that are not, in the best interest of the consumer, which, makes sense from a business point of view. You're going to push the consumer to the edge until they break, and then when they break, either you're going to have to fix something and give them what they want, or they're going to leave, and then you're going to have a problem. And until you get enough signals that are telling you that you've gone too far, why would you stop? I mean, obviously, as a regular person, you wouldn't do that, hopefully. But as a company, especially a company that's entirely focused, the point of the company is money, then, yeah, of course you're going to do that. Personas could easily make all customers happy by equally advertising and supporting Pro and Plus rather than pushing Plus. Yeah, of course. But like I say, they don't care, right? They don't care about that. They just care what's going to make the most amount of money. And the hope is that if we do this, it will, and it won't have too many detrimental effects. I mean, what do I know? The amount of years I spent working at the top end of a massive company is 0, so... Perhaps all their board meetings, they're just sitting there thinking, how can we give people what they want better? How can we give them the exact plans they want and make everything transparent? And then it's just so hard. It's just so hard to do that this is what we get. We're trying, guys. We're trying to give you exactly what you want, but we just can't do it. The limits of the internet and the commerce system are just so difficult to work with. Bitwig seems lit, might switch after finish bashing music. Yeah, I'd be curious to hear what you think, Raf. You don't play instruments, but would love to learn a lot of instruments like piano, drums, guitar. I like a lot of genres, mostly produce music on my laptop. That's cool, Mo. Playing instruments is great, really. to any producers that are just producers and don't play instruments, I highly suggest you try to learn one at least, because there is something very different about playing music in real time with rhythm continuously without stopping. There's something very important about that you don't get in the production world and composition world working in a DAW, because it does something to you from an overall musicality perspective. You're in it. You have to be in the flow, in the moment, playing, feeling, experiencing, moving, the dexterity, the mental with the physical, with the everything. It's this like unified experience that you don't really get in the DAW. The DAW is more like what I was saying earlier. It's more like an audio sculpture. It's like you can take the time and you can manipulate and pause and play little bits and do, which is very, very cool. And obviously I'm super into it, do it constantly. But I certainly wouldn't be able to do what I do if I didn't also play instruments. Do you do music analysis content? No. Well, I have a couple of videos, I guess, that sort of do that. I have these videos called As I Hear It. I don't analyze the songs in depth, but I do listen to some music and then talk about a particular thing in it that can be used in your own music writing. So perhaps you'd like those. You could check it out. Yeah, that's what I kind of figure, comp. Yeah, getting a MIDI keyboard Mo is really good idea. Do you sometimes just meditate on your instrument? I discovered that this is possible, although I'm only in the beginning. You'd have to explain what it is that you mean by that. It's like doing sound design versus playing actual music. Absolutely. How do I stop worrying? Ayub, welcome. How do I stop worrying about finding the perfect VST instruments and just get to learn, or VST instruments, and stop worrying about finding? You don't need to worry about it. As long as you got a few that come with your DAW or whatever you've got, you don't need a lot. The quality of the music and the composition is like unbelievably more important than the quality of the instruments. It's not to say the quality of the instruments isn't important, it is, but it doesn't matter how good your instruments are if your music sucks. So you may as well invest your time and money, if you're early on in the process, into being able to write good music, and which means write a lot of music, basically, is what it means. Write a lot of music and study the things that make sense to you to study, that feel of interest to you. And then over time, you'll just naturally learn where the shortcomings of your instruments lie and which ones to buy, because you'll be able to know what you're trying to achieve. And then when you're working with what you have, you realize you can't achieve it because whatever. Some instrument you have doesn't sound good enough, or you need to have a better reverb or whatever. It will become obvious. So it's in the beginning, I mean, at all times, it's just better just to work with what you have and push it to its limits, and then find out if you truly can't make the sounds that you want. Okay, then solve it some other way. Gotta get cinematic studio strings, made transfers. Yeah, exactly. I know. Have you finished music, or do you still learn new things? From my perspective, there's no finishing music, that's for sure. That's for sure. One of my teachers at a certain point in my life was an incredible, absolutely incredible musician. And he was in his 80s and still learning and doing new things and trying new things. And it's not as though, he started music when he was 60. He started music when he was a kid, and he took it very, very seriously his entire life, and released many, many, many albums, and still doing so now. So, yeah, there's definitely no end to it. No, that would be unfortunate. In a state in which the only person you're playing music for is yourself. Oh yeah, of course. Of course, of course. I love to just be on the guitar and just whatever, explore around. I mean, one of my goals for playing guitar, and any instrument, I guess, for that matter, but guitar is the one I play most, is to be able to freely flow from anything I audiate, meaning imagine, into the instrument in the moment with harmony, melody, chords, bass motion all at once, and just be able to walk around moving from what I hear into what I play without any concern for anything else, unless some other idea comes in and says, oh, we should go this direction. That's what I generally try to work on, which is itself a kind of meditation, because you do need to, I need to be in a sort of relaxed, open state where there's some weird merging of all of the back knowledge and theory comes to bear in the moment, but in a not thought-based way, and translating, from ear training and all this, what you hear into that stuff. So, yeah, I love that. I don't know if that's what you mean, but. And Baptiste, hi, welcome. Good to see you. Okay, Mo, see you later. All right, I'm going to play this track before I end today. I'm at 3 hours now. So this was this drum bass fusion, sort of jazz drum bass track that I was working on some weeks ago. And yeah, put in a bunch of work on it now. I haven't worked on it since apparently like April 19th or something. So yeah, like a month ago. This might be kind of loud. I hope it's okay. Here it comes. Yeah. Yeah. That whole second half of the track is very much still under construction, but the first half is, I think, pretty good. I do want some kind of like burning solo in the middle there. I'm going to try to get Tom Quayle involved and see if we can just get him to just rip. Be pretty cool over top of a groove like that. Haven't heard the first part. Oh yeah, no, that's right. I guess I did some of that intro stuff after the streams. Yeah, glad you like it. This is nice. I dare you to release it. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with it. Usually when I listen to stuff after a couple of weeks, I think, oh God, there's so much wrong with it. But it's sounding pretty good. It just needs the end of it generally cleaned up, and then I think it's good to go. Yere. Jeer. Love the metric modulation feel with the dotted quarters. Me too. Welcome, by the way. Thanks for spamming the emojis, everybody. It's pretty fun. All right, that's going to do it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. I surely did. Made good progress on the song. And yeah, I'll be back again soon to do more. It's honestly getting close to being done now, the one that I was working on, the ghibli, jazzy, fusion-y thing. A couple more sessions and then mixing and whatever. Do you sing? Max only raps. Yeah, Raph knows. I sing, just for fun. I don't sing in any way that I would release stuff on, like release music where I'm singing or whatever. But I sing all the time to myself, and I sing over drones a lot when I take my dog for walks, and just in the car, I sing like crazy. But yeah, no, I'm not a singer, that's for sure. When's the next live? I don't know. Tomorrow, maybe the next day. One of the two. And then the following Sunday? Yeah, a week from now will be the next challenge. But I won't be making music then. I'll be listening to music for 2 hours straight. So we have 55 people who've entered the current weekly challenge. That means you're going to listen to 55 songs, which are up to 1.5 minutes long each, which has never happened before. It's like nearly double the highest amount we've ever had for a challenge. So that's going to be an interesting experience. So yeah, you can tune in then. It's going to be next Sunday at the same time. Start your YouTube channel soon. We got the beef. Would love it, Raph, please. Okay, everybody. Appreciate you. Hope you have a good rest of your day. I'll be back soon. And enjoy life. Enjoy music to the best of your ability. See you soon.